What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form.
Now let's take a look at some coaching points in this ball game, starting with the Detroit Lions, and I would attack the linebackers of the Cowboys in the passing game. Right now, I believe they're a little bit banged up in the second level, and I think the Lions have the advantage at the tight end position in the slot. I think they can attack the linebackers in the passing game and generate big plays downfield. And defensively, they can't get reach in a running game. We know the Cowboys love to run a lot of outside zone, a lot of stretch, a lot of power. If they get reached on the outside, it could be a long day as far as them trying to stop the run is concerned. So they have to make sure they set the edge and force DeMarco Murray downhill right into the heart of those linebackers. And they must pay off in the red zone. They're going to move the football against the Cowboys defense, I'm sure. But once they get inside the 20, they have to pay off with touchdowns and not field goals. Put the game away early, and that way your defense can really pin their ears back and tee off on Tony Romo. And for the Cowboys in this ball game, just allow the playmakers to make plays. That's your running back, DeMarco Murray. That's getting the football in the hands of those receivers quickly. They don't have to get long developing routes, just short, quick passes, and allow those guys to make one miss and generate those big plays versus the Lions. And versus the passing game of Detroit, I would take away the inside. The one thing that makes Matthew Stafford unique is his arm strength, and he has the ability to out-throw coverage. And if you give him those in-breaking routes, he can fit the football in a tight space. But if you force him to go down the sideline, be consistently accurate going down the sideline, I think that's where he struggles. So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm taking away the inside versus the pass and minimize the mental errors. That's penalties, that's turnovers, that's blown assignments. Minimize those mental errors versus Detroit, and they can ultimately win this game.
This week versus Dallas, Detroit has to stop the run. They've done a great job of doing so all season long, and now they're going to be without their main piece up front in Ndamukong Suh. I'm going to show you how they can do that by getting creative up front to try to stop the run. Show you what we're talking about here. We're going to walk this strong safety down. We're going to slant every defensive lineman to the weak side, and we're going to blitz the strong safety, and we're going to have those linebackers reading, let's say a zone dog or what have you. So if these guys go out, they're responsible. If not, then they're free to go and attack the running game aggressively. I'm sure what we're talking about. We're going to have a tilted nose here. We're going to slant him across the face of the center, attacking weak side A gap, weak side B gap, outside contained with the defensive end. So now we're going to have the defensive end who's lined up over the tight end, slant hard outside shoulder of the tackle containing that C gap. But he's aggressive. Why? Because he knows he has blitzing help by the strong safety. So as the cadence starts to wind down, he creeps up close to the line of scrimmage as if he's going to cover this tight end, and he's shooting off the edge. We're playing cover one. These guys are manned up on the outside, one safety back deep. Backer is going to be responsible for the tight end. And again, these guys are reading these two backs. So if they want to come and lead, his job is to blow the fullback up in the hole. Now he can attack that A gap and make a play on the tailback. So that's one way they can get creative in stopping the run without Ndamukong Suh in the lineup. That's going to be a big loss for Detroit. But if they find creative ways to cause pressure, to clog up running lanes, it could be huge this game for the Lions. In the passing game versus the Detroit Lions, Dallas will have to find ways to generate big plays over the middle of the field. I'm going to show you how they can do so by just reading the Mike backer and also the guy that's covering the slot guy, probably a safety. Show you what we're talking about here. Just drew up a half a set, and we're going to read the backer and the slot defender. So we're going to take the running back and work him up through the line of scrimmage and over going toward the out. So now if he has man coverage with the backer, you know you have this guy running up, and he's going to break it in, or he's going to break it on a short in route, replacing with his linebacker just left, running away from the safety. Or if they're playing zone, he's going to break it up. So he has a three-way go. So here's the thing. If this guy doesn't follow the running back going out in the flat and he picks him up, you know you have this guy running a skinny post, and that's where you want to go with the football. If they're playing man, you have the crosser coming over. If they're also playing man and attacking with a blitzer, maybe he blitzes and he's responsible for the running back. Now you have this guy running down the seam. So it's a little bit of pattern reading on the fly with the guy in the slot, with Tony Romo understanding where he's going with the football and reading the coverage of the backer and safety. But this is one way that they can attack the defense of the Lions. And if they're able to run the football coming off a play action, this is going to be a big play in the passing game for Dallas.
The Lions have the ability to consistently make plays on the perimeter and in space, which is why it's so tough to defend them, because they force you to defend every blade of grass. And you'll see 2 consecutive plays versus Chicago to illustrate that point. The Bears actually have the screen well defensed, but you can't predict or game plan for an individual's effort. And great job by the offensive line to get their blocks, and Reggie Bush making something happen on this play. Now the next play, it's a simple gut play, and the offensive line does a great job. Bush finds space on the perimeter and attacks it for a touchdown. And keep in mind, this is just from a running back, but the Lions can get this type of perimeter production or execution from many different players on their offense, and I believe this is how they'll have to attack the Cowboys in order to come away victorious. Versus the Detroit Lions, the Cowboys will probably see a lot of trips formation in an attempt to try to get the football in the hands of one of their receivers like Golden Tate pretty quickly on a quick screen. And what they have to do is what they did here versus Indianapolis. You want to take away the guy at the top of the bunch. That throws off any type of option on this play, whether they want to throw it to the guy that's closest to the line of scrimmage, the inside receiver out of the bunch, or on the outside on a small tunnel screen. If they take away the guy at the top of the bunch, it throws off everything. So either way, and this was a running play, but either way, if the Cowboys can get the guy at the top of the bunch occupied, it goes a long way in helping them defend what they're going to see from Detroit, which is probably going to be a lot of quick screens or tunnel screens to take advantage of their playmakers in space. I believe the biggest X factor in this game for Detroit is being able to win on the perimeter. They have guys like Golden Tate, Reggie Bush, Eric Ebron, even Calvin Johnson can get the football in his hands quickly and make one miss. So if they're able to win on the perimeter versus those linebackers, safeties, and slot corners, I think they can have success. And the biggest X factor in this game for the Cowboys will be the play of their center, Travis Frederick. A lot of what they do outside zone, their stretch, their power plays, they get good push. They're able to wash defensive linemen down, and he's going to have the tough task of blocking Ndamukong Suh all game long, who's one of the strongest defensive linemen at the point of attack. If he can't handle him, it's going to be a long day for this Cowboys ground game. So Frederick has to have his best day versus this Detroit Lions defensive front. I like the Cowboys in this ball game. Dallas does a great job in owning the time of possession. They are able to run the football, which forces you as an offense, as the opposing team, to maximize your possessions and play mistake-free football, because you don't want to lose possessions to a team like Dallas that can't chew up the TOP. And I think they'll do a great job in forcing Detroit to press, forcing Detroit to maximize in the red zone. I think that's where Detroit will end up losing. I like Dallas to move on to the next round. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Cowboy fan forums and Lion fan forums for always showing football game plan support.